Holding students accountable could be from a group discussion checklist that the teacher creates, and it must be signed by all group members before turned in. It could be an observation form that the teacher has created for themselves as they walk around and facilitate the learning and kind of participate in some of the discussions and just listen to what's being said and who's participating. It could be discussion questions that are given and they have to be answered and turned in. It could be in the form of a handout, an exit slip, or another big one that's talked about by Bond and several other resources that I have found. There's having culminatory tasks at the end. So maybe it's a book talk, maybe it's to create a book trailer, maybe it's to set up a scene from the story, kind of like a living literature, but on a smaller scale, and mostly just the scene without the people. It could be anything that the teacher wants. It could be a presentation about it. It could be writing a summary, just some kind of task that allows you to know that they completed it and that they understood what they were reading. So how would you get started? You know what it is. You know everybody's roles. Where do you get started? First, continue to do more research. Go to YouTube, watch videos in which other teachers are using it in their classrooms. See it in action. Familiarize yourself with your role as the facilitator. Remember, you are not the leader. Your role is to facilitate, circulate, and evaluate. You're laying the groundwork and then standing in the background. You need to determine the grouping. Do you want it to be random, where students pick numbers or use grouping cards to develop groups? Do you want it to be teacher-directed, where the teacher chooses group members based on observations? So it could be mixed or similar abilities, personalities. Do you want it to be student choice, where students choose groups by filling out a wish list card? Or do you want it to be by book selection, where students are grouped by reading interest? Students can complete a choice sheet where they state the novels in order, 1, 2, 3, which ones they would prefer. And based on group size, you get them hopefully as close to the first choice as you can get. Guys, I really recommend book selection. I really don't know that a literature circle really comes from teachers picking the groups. I feel like if you do that, they're not necessarily going to get the book they want. And it goes back to literature circles encouraging the love of reading. So while I did put this on here, I really encourage the book selection. Let students have choice for books that they want to read and put them in groups based on their interest. You need to think about the group size based on your class. How many literature circles do you want? How many in each circle? And then based on that, you need to select the student roles that you want to use with your group. After you've laid the groundwork, you've done all the planning, it's time to teach your class. You need to explain what a literature circle is then to the students. And then you need to go over all the student roles, because while they may be given a specific role the first day, their role may change. So they need to be familiar with all the roles. This may be where the teacher decides to print roll cards so that each time the student knows exactly what the expectations for their role is. You need to demonstrate literature circles to the class. So this is where, after I've viewed all my YouTube videos of teachers using literature circles, I would find the most appropriate for students and show it to the class so they can see it in action. Last, I would try practicing all the roles with kids starting on a small scale. Maybe start with a poetry reading in which they all do their roles and participate. Then maybe move to a short story. And after they're getting the feel of how it works and are more comfortable with it, then you move into your novel. So for my follow-up activity, now that you've learned all about literature circles, I have a few questions that I want you to think about and answer. Question 1. What do you think of literature circles? So think about, do you like them? Do you not like them? Are you still overwhelmed? Is it a lot? Is it too much planning? Just anything, be honest. What do you think about it? 2, would you be interested in using literature circles? So why? 3, How many students do you think would make an ideal literature circle? Do you think smaller groups, bigger groups, a nice medium, 4 or 5 members? What are your thoughts? 4, knowing that there are numerous student role possibilities. What student roles do you think would work best for you and your students? And then 5, how would you hold students accountable or evaluate their learning during your literature circles? Last, I have some references here. These are the ones that I used as I researched and used information into my PowerPoint. I hope you've learned a lot about literature circles and you tried them out in your rooms. Thanks for watching.